All right, everybody, today is July 15th, i.e. Tax Day, brought to you by COVID. And if you haven't filed your 2019 taxes yet, what exactly have you been doing with these extra few months after April 15th the Treasury gave you, folks? Probably the exact same thing I've been doing, because I haven't filed my taxes yet either, because I've been busy, so busy.
Eating my wife's bread, getting the quarantine 15, making vids, making love, and maintaining my sanity.
So if, like me, you are not going to get around to filing your 2019 tax return before midnight tonight, I would recommend that you file a free extension with the IRS to extend your tax return deadline to October 15th of this year to avoid a late filing penalty. At the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to file an extension for your tax return for tax year 2019. But first, I'm going to go over the basics of tax extensions. So a tax extension is an extension of time to file your tax return. It's a request you make to the IRS to give you an additional few months to file your tax return, okay? Typically, this request is for an additional 6 months from April 15th to October 15th, but in this special 2020 year, due to COVID, they changed this original deadline from April 15th to July 15th, so now the extension request is only for 3 months, from July 15th to October 15th, okay? Got it? And note that while your extension form is technically a request for an extension to extend your tax return deadline, it's a request that the IRS automatically grants without notice. So as long as you've successfully filed your extension, you're good to go. You don't need to sit around waiting for a letter from the IRS letting you know that your tax return has been extended. And if you do sit around waiting for such letter, you will be waiting a long time. Extension or not, you still have to pay all the 2019 taxes you owe by today, July 15th, the original due date of the return before extensions, or else you risk being assessed late payment penalties by the IRS. So remember, your tax extension is simply an extension of time to file your tax return, not an extension of time to pay your taxes. So if you think you still owe the IRS, run your estimated numbers through your tax software to see an estimate of what you still owe, taking into account estimated tax payments you've made, and make sure you pay this amount today at the IRS website or through your tax software. You can write a check as well. I'm going to cover your payment options later in this video, but make sure that you pay any outstanding tax owed for tax year 2019 by today, okay? Now, even if you don't pay your taxes by today, the IRS will still grant your extension, okay? So you can avoid that late filing penalty, even if you don't pay your taxes today. But it may still assess you penalties and interest for not paying, i.e. the late payment penalty for not paying your tax owed by today. Got it? Okay? All right, so how do you file an extension? To file a tax extension, you need to file Form 4868 with the IRS. As with most tax forms, you can either file your extension online or via paper mail. I'm going to go over that first option, filing your extension online, and you can use your tax software to do this, okay? So right now, I'm going to walk through filing an extension on the most popular tax software, TurboTax. I've done a complete and thorough review on the TurboTax tax software right here on the channel. Go over the pros and cons, what you need to know. You can see a link to that video at the top of your screen. But for right now, let's go behind my computer and I'm going to show you how to file a tax extension using TurboTax for free. All right, everybody, here we are at the TurboTax website for extensions. The URL is turbotax.intuit.com/IRS-tax-extensions. You can click File a Free Extension right down there. If you already have a TurboTax account, you can sign in. You can put your email, phone number, or TurboTax ID here, hit sign in. I'm going to assume you don't already have a TurboTax account. If that's the case, you'll have to create an account. I'm going to put in the email address that I created just for this. Phone number, it just says recommended, so that doesn't mean you have to do it. Then you're going to create a password down here. Once you've created your password and you confirmed it here, click Create Account. Sure, I'll save the password. All right, so you're going to be getting an email from Intuit after you create your TurboTax account. So I'm going to here we go. Your Intuit account, verify my email. Email address verified, continue. All right. Okay, then I went back there and I clicked continue to Intuit. All right, let's get started on your federal extension. Awesome. If you can't finish your return by the filing deadline, extension will give you more time to file. Yes. An extension only extends your time to file your return. Yes. We covered this previously in the video. There's no extension for paying any taxes you owe. Yes. If you owe taxes, we recommend paying the full amount before July 15th to keep any interest and penalties to a minimum. Yes, we've already said as much. State extension. I'm going to cover this later. but let's hit continue for federal extension. Okay, so you're just gonna put your information in here. Fake social. Fake date of birth, obviously. Okay, it doesn't like my fake social. Okay. If you're married, filing jointly, you check this box, which I am. Continue. All right, contact info, you just put your address here. I'm not going to put my phone number. Oh, I guess they really want your phone number. 800-888-9999. Okay, so now this wants to know your estimated tax liability for 2019. You can put 0 here and you're fine, okay? Just remember that if you don't pay your taxes by today, the original unextended due date of the return, and you owe taxes to the IRS, you may be on the hook for a late payment penalty, okay? But if you do have an idea of how much you're going to owe in taxes, you can put that here. I'm just going to assume that I'm going to owe $5,000. And let's just, $5,000. And then in this box here, by the way, this box would be your total 2019 tax liability, right? Even if you've already got wages taken out of your paycheck, okay? So let's say, my total 2019 tax liability is $5,000, but I look at my W-2, and according to my W-2, I've got $3,000 taken out. That's what I would put, okay? So I would owe $2,000 is what I would be saying. Okay, what's this? You're almost done filing your free extension. Now get a head start in filing your taxes. Okay, so here's the monetization here. They obviously want you to commit to using TurboTax now, and they want you to pay now to do your taxes. If I wouldn't commit to anything right now. Watch my TurboTax review first. Just go down here, click All Choose Later. Okay, to file this extension, the IRS needs information on your adjusted gross income for 2018. Okay. You would select the option you have. I imagine you have your 2018 tax return handy, or you would select we didn't file if you didn't file. I'm going to assume you filed last year. You would put your AGI there. It's just for verification purposes. Continue. Okay, then you got to say how would you like to pay your federal taxes? So you can either do a direct payment, the full amount, or if you don't want to. So later, if you choose this option, TurboTax will ask you for your bank account info later on. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, so it's going to ask for your payment information, right? The payment date, you'd probably want to put today to avoid penalties, your banking information down here. Or you can just say, I'm going to do it myself, right? And then hit continue. Then it won't prompt you for banking information. That's how you can do it if you don't want to make a payment today, regardless of whether or not you owe taxes, okay? Because your extension will be accepted even if you owe taxes and you don't make a payment, okay? You just might be on the hook for late payment penalties. So that's the option I picked. Okay, review the info, right? Make sure this all looks right. Hit continue. TurboTax extension consent agreement. So here's where you just make up any numbers. Remember these numbers, though. That serves as your signature, essentially, for filing the extension. So I'm going to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pretend my wife's would be 67890. You gotta do the CAPTCHA thing to show you're not a robot. Okay, and then that's it. Then when you're done, you're gonna hit transmit right returns now. It says returns, but it is just your extension, okay? I'm not gonna press that button, obviously, because this isn't a real extension. I'm just doing it to show you how to do it. All right, folks, that's how you do a tax extension in TurboTax. Okay, that wasn't so bad, right? And if you don't use TurboTax, it's probably just as easy with your tax software. If you can't figure out how to file an extension on your tax software, you can file one on TurboTax and then go use the tax software you're used to file your tax return, okay? Now, I'm obviously not going to go through every single tax software in this video. I'm sure the process for filing extension through other tax software programs is roughly the same as filing through TurboTax. If you want a list of tax software programs, including TurboTax, where you can file an extension for free, go to the website that is appearing at the top of your screen right now. This is an IRS website. I will also put a link in the description below where you can see your options. All right, so your next option to file an extension with the IRS if you don't want to do it electronically is to do it via mail. You need to download Form 4868, complete it, and mail it to the IRS, okay, to extend your tax return. Maybe you're more the pen and paper type and want to mail in your extension rather than file it online. Honestly, I would rather you file online because then you get confirmation right then and there that it happened, as opposed to the postal service where your envelope could get lost. And plus you have to pay for postage, and the IRS is backed up with paper right now. But if you do go this paper filing route, I would recommend that you send your extension certified mail so the IRS can't come back and claim that they never received your form. Now, right now, I'm going to jump behind my computer and show you how to complete Form 4868. Then you can print it and mail it to the proper address, okay? So the first thing you want to do is go to the proper URL. The URL is irs.gov/pub/irs-pdf/f4868.pdf. And then you're going to scroll down here. And at this point, you have some options. You can just print this page as is, okay? Oh. You can print this page as is, print it to your printer, just the first page. And then what you would do is you would cut along the dotted line there and then just handwrite the information in here and then mail it in. Or, you could download this to your computer and then fill in the PDF and then print it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill it out right here without downloading it first and then print it. So, you put your name here, your legal name. You'd put your address there. And then you'd put your city, state, zip. You'd put your social, your spouse's social. Oh, I did that wrong. 222. All right, then over here, kind of like in the TurboTax one, you'd put your estimate of your total tax liability for 2019, including taxes you've already paid. And then you'd put the amount of taxes you've paid here. That could be through W-2 wage withholding, overpayment from 2018, estimated tax payments you've made. And then you'd put the balance due here, which is just line 4 minus line 5, obviously. You could not pay anything. And you would still be able to extend your tax return. It's just you could be assessed penalties and interest on the unpaid balance. I'm going to be assuming we're going to pay the whole thing here. And just for full clarification, these are just example numbers here. I'm not saying this is what you should put. These are just made up numbers. You would put your actual numbers here. Box 8, check here if you're out of the country and a U.S. citizen or resident. So this out of the country, that doesn't just mean like, oh, you're on vacation right now or something. It means you actually live outside of the United States right now, okay, and you're a citizen or resident. Check here if you file Form 1040, that's the non-resident form, and you didn't receive wages as an employee, subject to U.S. So basically, look, if you live in the United States, boxes 8 and 9 don't apply to you, okay? All right, then what you would do at this point is simply print this thing, right? You just need the first page, okay? And then you would send it in with your check to the appropriate address here, okay? I'm gonna go over paying by check and the addresses here later in the video. So, but that's what you have to do to just fill out the Form 4868. All right, so now that you've completed the Form 4868, now you can print it out and mail it to the IRS at the proper address, preferably via certified mail, as I mentioned previously. If you owe taxes and you want to pay by check, write a check to United States Treasury in the amount of your outstanding tax liability, and write your Social Security number, daytime phone number, and 2019 Form 4868 in the memo line. And then mail your extension and your check, if you're making a payment by check, to the appropriate address. All right, so here are the addresses for where to mail your extension Form 4868, okay? So there's 3 columns here. I'm going to explain them. First of all, look in the first column for the name of the state you live in, okay? Then when you've found that state, you have to choose which of the second or third column is appropriate for you. So you will use the second column if you're making a payment, if you're writing a check, okay, and enclosing that with your extension Form 4868, you'll use that second column. If you're just mailing the Form 4868 to extend your tax return and you're not sending in a check along with it, you'll use the third column. So just by way of example here, if you live in Arizona and you are making a payment along with your Form 4868, along with your extension form, you would mail both your check and the Form 4868 to Internal Revenue Service, P.O. Box 802-503, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45280-2503. On the other hand, let's say you live in Florida and you are not sending a check along with your extension form 4868. You would send your form 4868 to Internal Revenue Service Center, Austin, Texas 73301-0045. All right, now one last thing to keep in mind is that your state may require you to file a separate tax extension. The states that require this are far and few between, okay? Vast majority of states will have to do this because some states, such as California, Idaho, and several others, automatically extend their taxpayers' state tax returns with no action required whatsoever. So even if you forgot to file your federal extension and you live in a state like California, your state return would still be extended. And other states, such as New Jersey and Pennsylvania, automatically extend taxpayers' state returns if they have filed an accepted federal extension. So in these states, like New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and several others, if you file your federal tax extension, you're good. You don't have to file a separate state extension. However, if you do not file a federal extension, either because you forgot or perhaps because you do not have a federal filing requirement, but you do have a state filing requirement, then you would have to file a separate state extension for your state income tax return, right? Example of this is if your income for the year is less than the federal standard deduction amount, but it's not less than your state standard deduction amount, okay? In that case, you wouldn't have a federal filing requirement in many cases, but you might have a state filing requirement, okay? Now, but here's the kicker, okay? There are a handful of states that require taxpayers to file a separate state extension in order to extend the due date of their state return, even if they have already filed and have been accepted for a federal extension. Examples of these states are New York, North Carolina, and Vermont. So, if you live in North Carolina, and you have a North Carolina filing requirement, or you don't live in North Carolina and you still have a North Carolina filing requirement, maybe you own rental property or something in North Carolina, then you'd better make sure you file the North Carolina specific extension form, D410, and you can do this online, today. Okay, as well as in addition to filing your federal tax extension. I have more information on various state rules in the description below, state by state, but I just want to make sure that you are aware of these state issues. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you found this video informative, please share it on social media. Today's tax day. I'm sure there's at least one person in your Facebook friends or your other social media platforms who hasn't yet filed their tax return. They need to file their extension today, but maybe they don't know how to do it, or maybe they just forgot. Share this on there so they don't get a penalty from the IRS. Also, please click the thumbs up button down below, down at the bottom of the video. Click the thumbs up button to like the video. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.